Are you here? It is the Paul Leslie Hour, with a review of Jimmy Buffett's posthumous album, entitled Equal Strain on All Parts, released November 3rd, 2023. Please subscribe to Paul Leslie's YouTube channel and then like the Paul Leslie Hour on Facebook. We thank you, because we're grateful. Now, let's listen together.
My recent interview with Will Kimbrough, recorded on the release day of the album, is the perfect preface to this review.
I would say the people who are mourning the loss of Jimmy that let's celebrate that he was here at all, and then we got to laugh and dance and sing along, and let's keep it going. Let's keep the party going. Let's have joy and gratitude and be interested in life, and let's find the next possibility for an excuse to get together with people and experience joy through stories and songs and food and culture, and celebrate our differences and for a change, and create a little peace and love through happiness and music and food and stories. So yeah, and I think that this new Buffett record is an example of a life lived seeking that out, very successfully so, but nevertheless, there it is. So yeah, let's get together and feel all right, like Bob Marley would say.
We would all listen to a new Jimmy Buffett record for the very last time. After a long and storied career nearing 60 years, Jimmy Buffett would sadly not live to see the release of Equal Strain on All Parts, his final studio album. I always felt one of the best ways to describe Jimmy Buffett is that he was one of the purest entertainers ever. He wasn't looking to convert you to some cause or show you how brilliant he was. When he performed, he just wanted to make you feel good. As my friend the writer Jason Burge plainly stated in a concert review, Jimmy Buffett makes people happy. Succinct, but one of the truest things anyone wrote about the man. But there was the other side of him, the artist. As a songwriter and recording artist, the word underrated comes to the top of my mind. A prolific recording artist, many of his tracks are something to behold. That one artist was able to fit so much variety into his records, well, in his life, hasn't been duplicated. Buffett recorded folk, rock and roll, blues, jazz, and musical flavors from Appalachia to Africa and the Polynesian Islands. Even a few tracks from the Great American Songbook that crooners like Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra recorded. All of this from one artist and his band. I don't think it's pointed out enough that there is more musicologist in Jimmy Buffett than you may think. I relaxed and listened to the whole album from beginning to end and repeated the experience outside with headphones on. Here are the sides that resonated most. The University of Bourbon Street lets you know right away that this isn't going to be a dirge. This song, co-written by Will Kimbrough, is as loving a tribute to the Crescent City as there's ever been. Mardi Gras, the food, and New Orleans musical icons like Benny Spellman and the Neville Brothers all get nods. Buffett once wrote, "Back in prehistoric times, the 60s, when I was working on Bourbon Street, I used to go to the Ivanhoe Piano Bar on my break and listen to a couple of local singers called the Neville Brothers. I spoke with Aaron Neville recently, who summed up Buffett in a nutshell." What kind of guy was Jimmy?
Just every time I seen him, he was smiling. He always had a smile. So, he was cool. He never did show ego or anything like that. He was always down to earth.
The Preservation Hall Jazz Band was founded in the early 60s, and they've kept traditional New Orleans jazz alive ever since. It's fitting and fun that they're featured so prominently on the opening track. It feels like continuity. If you can only bring one thing with you, let it be faith. Bubbles Up is one of Buffett's most earnest vocals. We can find reasons to believe or have meaning from the most humble things. When you're drowning, even a bubble has promise. Written with Will Kimbrough, Bubbles Up is a thing of beauty. I'm in awe of songs that take something mundane and find something more. For Irving Berlin, it was Blue Skies. For Will and Jimmy, they found inspiration in the meek bubble. I've listened to the album all the way through a couple of times. So far, the title track is my favorite. It's an atypical song, but something I've noticed is that whenever Jimmy recorded something out of his wheelhouse, it tended to make for something exceptional. Jimmy wrote this one with Mac McAnally, and it's an ode to rest, inspired by what Jimmy's father called a nap. If you're an insomniac, nobody knows the meaning of sleep like you do. The restorative power of sleep is a blessing. You can't continue your voyage without pausing for an equal strain on all parts. Like My Dog is a song I was familiar with from the Billy Currington version. Written by Scotty Emmerich and the late Harley Allen, it's steel drum-soaked, but still country in Buffett's hands. It's lighthearted, but it's honest, just like a country song should be. Tea Punch Cafe is really a magical track, prominently featuring Angelique Kidjo. The Afro-Caribbean influence is strong, and it fits the Coral Reefer Band vibe so well. It's euphoric-inducing, energetic, and relaxing at the same time. It's the most joyous song on the record. The geographic exploration continues on Portugal or PEI, featuring Will Kimbrough and Lenny Gallant, both co-writers as well. Buffett music has always inspired wonder for his listeners. Exotic places are such a key to his allure. This one is exotic sounding, with a wink to fado music courtesy of Will Kimbrough. As a side note, I hope the song turns more people on to Lenny Gallant, who is from Prince Edward Island. He's exceptional. Johnny's Rum is a tribute to the late Johnny Hallyday. He was called the French Elvis, but listening to his work, especially live albums, revealed he was an original. I was really jazzed that Buffett would pay homage with this song. Columbus is a song by Noel Brazil, made famous by Irish singer Mary Black. Buffett had wanted to record this song at least as far back as 20 years ago. He had considered it for the Far Side of the World album. It's a gem of a song just waiting for the right moment. It seems to fit the Equal Strain on All Parts album. It's another atypical song that you can tell had a personal meaning for Buffett. Perhaps Jimmy saw a bit of the great explorer in himself. The album ends with a Bob Dylan cover. Mozambique originally appeared on Bob Dylan's 1976 album, Desire. Just like Dylan's original version, Buffett's version features Emmylou Harris on vocals. It's quite an embrace that the last track on the last album of Buffett's career is his take on one from Bob Dylan. When interviewer Bill Flanagan asked Bob Dylan to name his favorite songwriters, it's telling that Dylan's answer started with, "Buffett, I guess." I heard Mac McAnally say that Mozambique on the southeastern coast of Africa was a place Buffett never visited. Even an explorer like Jimmy Buffett needed something to look forward to. We all do. If you listen and ponder, the Equal Strain on All Parts album makes more than a few statements. The record starts where Buffett's journey began, and it ends where he never got to go. It's worth the trip. Having the kind of appetite for discovery and possibilities that Buffett had does a lot for our morale. When I began really digging into Jimmy Buffett's bag full of songs, I didn't know how much meaning there was. But people who find meaning are the ones who look for it. I hope you'll give this one a listen, and maybe you'll let me know where you found meaning. I'm reminded of what Thomas McGuane wrote back in the 1980s. It's true even now. The sun has been coming up on Buffett's world for a long time, and among the shadows stand songs and people who are here to stay.